What's up, everyone? This is Lizette.
Hi, this is Michael, and you guys are tuned in to TOYCON TV. Yay!
Hey,
Yay!
Kel, where are
Yes,
you? I can't see you.
time check right now. It's 8:06 in the morning here in New Jersey, 8:06 in the evening in the metro. I am Michael again. Yan, hello. Ano,
Michael, who is
malamig-lamig pa rin,
currently
even if
blacked
it's like,
out.
summertime, almost summer, it's still cold. That's why I'm still on a
Yep.
hoodie. Pero, yan, how's the weather there?
Well, it's hot.
Hmm.
Summer hasn't ended yet, and but we've had a few thunderstorms lately, and we've had rain in the afternoon. So yeah, afternoons are kind of light.
No, no, actually, last night
Ingot
it
ka.
just rained here. So, kaya siguro it's a bit colder than usual. Pero, it's been getting hot. Pero, yun nga, naka-hoodie pa rin ako ngayon. So, it's still a bit cold. But is that,
Yep. Yep.
let's bring it in. What ToyCon TV is all about.
Yep. ToyCon TV is your weekly catch up with the local toy community and fandoms that love everything about toys, collections, and hobbies. It's also a way to keep the ToyCon community together, and despite the physical distance, this this is brought to you by ToyCon, the event that brings collectors together for nearly 2 decades now.
Yan, yes. Tagal na. And tonight we're bringing in the eastern side of toy collecting as we dive deeper together with our awesome guests and their collections, discussing the uniqueness of them. And so, ano ba? Maganda yung toys na ipapakita nila ngayon, di ba? Yung
Clue?
collections nila. Ayan, like something
Because
like that. So
we're
I
doing
was
this
before when I
episode.
was younger-ish. I was doing scale model building then with Gundam. I'm a huge Gundam fan, so I'm really excited with one of our guests right now.
Yep.
Also, I don't want to spoil everything, but like let's welcome everyone to ToyCon TV's episode 10, Japanese anime and mecha toys. Yay! Yeah.
So
So
for everybody who's watching, I hope you stick around for and watch the presentations of our guests because at the end of the show, we'll be having trivia games and you have a chance to win awesome prizes from our guests tonight.
So let's start our intros muna Zet, no? So again, I'm Michael from Anime Alliance, Operations Manager, and we have with me right now, hosting the show tonight, is Lizette, production manager for Anime Alliance as well, and part of Toycon's production team. Yan. So
Thank you. Thank you
excited
for
ka na ba
introducing me.
introduce mo na nga yung guests natin
Super,
kasi
super excited na ako to introduce our guests. But, yep, our set of distinguished guests for tonight are either anime or Japanese toy
yes.
collectors that have made an impact in the toy collecting scene. And we can't actually wait to introduce them to you, so let's bring them in one by one. Our first guest for tonight is an inspiring collector who loves to inspire her fellow dreamers to engage in the world of Cardcaptor Sakura. And she wants to go beyond and
Ooh.
explore more than what being a collector can offer. Everybody, let's give a warm round of applause to Mina.
Hey, hi Mina.
Hi, Mina.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Okay naman po.
Okay naman.
Okay.
Actually, excited ako makita yung presentations mo kasi I'm a huge Cardcaptor Sakura fan din. That actually one of the animes that actually brought me into actually loving anime. Eh.
Amazing.
So, yan, sige. Later on, we'll definitely talk more. And hi, sige. Our second guest is one of the founding administrators of Sailor Moon Philippines. He is an IT recruiter for an IA or AI ba? IA ba yun?
AI.
AI ba yun?
AI.
AI company during the day. So sometimes I get confused. And a full-time collector on the side. So let's please welcome Max.
Hi,
Hi.
Max.
Hi, good evening.
Hi there.
Hi, yan. So pa yan. Mamaya.
Wow.
Huge throwback pag pinakita mo yan.
Oo
Especially
nga.
yung
Oh,
toys.
Sailor Moon fans, you have to watch out for Max, huh?
Yan. Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon. Sige.
Yep. Okay, we'll
Yes.
see
Welcome,
you
welcome,
later.
Max. Welcome. Joseph.
Yep. Our third guest is representing the awesome group of anime figure collectors from Anime, Manga, and Figure Exchange or Amfix, a full-time software developer, avid toy collector, and Mina's better half.
Yes.
That's right.
Ganun na naman.
Let's give it up for Drew.
Yay! Yan. I remember
Yeah,
sabi ni
the seats
Kat, like the two of
naman.
you
Tapos,
guys were cost couple interviewed by GMA. Tama ba yan?
Yes
Yes,
po.
Ah, yun. Yeah, cost couple. We have collecting couple, no? Couple
Mhm.
collector, parang gano'n yun. Cost couple tuloy. Sanay ako sa cosplay week natin.
hashtag sana all.
Sana all. Yan. Sige. Welcome, welcome. And then, we'll bring you back in later on again, okay?
Right.
Okay po.
Sure.
All right. So last but not
Mhm.
the least, he is an avid Mecha anime fan, a longtime Gunbla modeler, and a part of the admin team for Facebook groups Pinoy one is the 144, Mecha Toys, and also 30 Minutes Missions International. So let's please give a warm welcome to Miko.
Hi,
Yay!
Good
Nico.
evening,
Hi, Miko.
everyone. We hope everybody's having a
Ano
good
ba?
weekend.
Should we call you Miko or Moki?
Either is fine naman.
Either is
Most
fine.
people
So
know me though by
I'm
Moki.
I'm going to assume Moki came from Miko.
Yes.
Okay, sige. Yan, sige. So we'll bring let's bring everyone in muna.
Yeah,
Come on, everyone in.
everybody in.
In. Let's bring everyone in. Yan, asa ba? Yan, hi.
Oh, may mga followers si Moki.
Oh, malaki, madami, daming fans. Yan. Hey guys, how are you guys?
Hi, everyone.
And
Hello.
so these are our guests for
For
tonight.
yes.
Yeah, these awesome people are going to be showcasing their collections and their experiences as a toy collector on the eastern side. The reason I say
Mhm.
eastern side, most of the time, because they here in TOYCON TV, we feature a lot more of the Western culture toys. So now we're going to touch up on a lot of uh toys on the anime and like tama ba eastern side
Pwede, but
yung term yung ano. So
Pwede.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the majority of you guys actually just collect anime toys ba? Or do you guys collect any other than that?
mm-mm.
Like toys naman
Mostly
na
anime
ano,
toys.
mostly Japanese.
See at the background.
Actually,
There's
I
Mostly
a
Yeah,
Gunpla.
I can actually see the background with you guys. All right,
Nice.
then.
mostly 90s animes.
Mostly 90s
90s
animes.
anime. Something
Yan.
that you
So
can really
magkakaedad
relate
tayo.
to.
Gano'n. Nasa titos and titas na tayo lahat.
can move
Yeah.
the
Oh, matanda na po.
So ano ba? Start na natin, Tita Zet?
Wow. Anyway, I will claim that today because these are anime and toys actually that I grew up with. So,
Exactly.
sige, let's
See, I
bring
even
in
did not touch up on that. Kasi bata pa ako sa Zet eh.
Oh, excuse me. Mas matanda lang ako sa'yo ng isang 2 months. Excuse me.
Naka-off daw yung
And
cam ko? Or
no,
like,
no, no.
oh,
Yeah,
shoot.
we can see you
Kinuman ako.
actually.
Hindi ko nalabas yung chat. Anyway, sige, Zet, let's push it.
Okay. So we'll have Mina first.
Yes.
Yep.
Ina, the floor is gonna be all yours in a bit. So
Uh-huh.
hi, shout out kay Sir As nagbe-message kanina. Tapos, happy birthday din kay Kat.
Oh, happy birthday, Kat!
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Kat.
Kat!
Yan,
Yes,
happy
Tita
birthday.
Kat.
Uh,
Okay, so Mina, why don't you start your presentation? I'm sure everybody's excited to hear about your collection.
Okay.
All right, so backstage muna kami.
yes.
Hello everyone. I am Mina from Cardcaptor Sakura Collectors Group, and I am here to share everything about collecting, its in and outs, and also something to look beyond what things you can do to level up to make the most out of being a collector. So let's start with the presentation, please. Okay. Hello again, fellow dreamers. I would like to introduce our group, Cardcaptor Sakura Collectors Group. It has been active for more than 2 years already. We believe that Cardcaptor Sakura fandom deserves its own spot on exhibits as it's already made a mark for itself as one of the most popular magical girl series ever. We have been on TOYCON display for 2 years in a row now, and we are very glad to showcase our Steam collections give fans a fan experience. First of all, I would like to thank all my fellow dreamers who invested time and effort to put an amazing display each time we are invited to exhibit. During TOYCON, these are collections that we have combined to form these beautiful layers of figures and merch. We are happy for making fans appreciate our effort and giving their precious time to take a picture of our displays and having some nice compliments. Salamat po dun sa mga bumisita last year sa TOYCON, dun sa display namin ng Cardcaptor Sakura Group. Ayan po yung display namin last year. And sinama na rin po namin yung iba dyan na mga display po ng aming members. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay po. When did you start collecting? I started collecting keychains during high school days since I am still a student and cannot afford to purchase anything more than that yet. I think dumaan naman po tayo sa ganun lahat ng stage. Once in a while where you have no choice but to purchase cheap items at first, diba? So soon, I managed to buy some original merch. That's during my college day. Either I save money from my part-time job, working student ako noon, or a gift given to me, mga bigay din, dumami dahil doon. I managed to buy figures when I was already working as an adult. I am so glad I already got some money to spare since I am already earning. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Alright.
What type of CCS figures? What type of CCS figures do you collect? Almost anything that has a pic. It's characters and logos. Yes, almost everything has a Sakura touch on it. From figures up to the smallest merch possible. That's how addicted I am on Cardcaptor Sakura items. Ever since. But now, I am more budget aware. I just prefer to have more CCS merch like small figures, small plush, watches, something like that. Next slide, please. To give you a sample of what CCS figures I do collect, kindly look at the photos na lang po. See some of my hauls. I wish to collect vintage figures then up to the latest releases and I am not sure when or how to stop. Kasi once na naumpisahan pong mag-collect, parang nakaka-addict na bumili po ng sunod-sunod. Lalo na kung sunod-sunod din yung labas po ng mga bagong items from the series. Next slide, please. How did you start collecting? Life abroad was a bit tedious, so getting a hobby is a good thing. I think all foreign countries naman, hindi tayo ganun kasanay like sa Pinas. I'm so glad I found this hobby. First sets of collections are keychains and small merch. As I've stated kanina, I started collecting those at first lang. What makes you unique among other collectors? Other than collecting, we wish to experience attending actual events actually and enjoy team cafes. We also wanted to meet the actual authors and go to the places where the characters are. Later, I will show you po some places and things that I have done for the love of this series. Next slide, please. Okay, next question. To what lengths have you gone through to acquire a specific toy? Well, that can be summarized into three points. Firstly, burning an enormous amount just to acquire a limited edition figure. Ito po yung parang nakaka-guilty kasi kahit gaano kamahal po yung item na yon, gusto mo pa rin bilhin. Talagang pag-iipunan mo siya, makuha mo lang po siya. I am such an impulse buyer din po to the point I spend more than the SRP when I wanted a figure so that. Secondly, learn how to know the local dialect in order to get the deal. Believe me, there are some people who won't talk to you po using English. Kasi ako yung tipong collector na naghahanap pa from different countries pa. For example, may nakita akong vintage figure kahit Thailander siya or sa Paris pa po siya makukuha. Talagang nag-google po ako ng mga lengguwahe nila. Kakausap ko lang po yung taong collector na nagbebenta nun. So, ayun po. most of the time, ganun lang po ginagawa ko, makuha ko lang po yung gusto kong toy. Thirdly, waited years of mostly multiple single transactions to complete a toy line. Painful yet rewarding once you have all that you need po. Difficulties in being an anime Japanese toy collector. Nothing much po. Most of the people do appreciate them naman. It's just that most non-collectors think of our holes as a junk. Ito po yung mga taong maririnig mo minsan na laruan lang naman yun, ginagastusan mo pa, wala namang value. Ginagastusan mo pa ng malalaking halaga. Para po sa akin kasi, ang nakakaintindi lang sa akin is kapwa toy collector ko lang din. Wala kasing katumbas yung happiness na makukuha mo kapag na-acquire mo po yung toy na gusto mo. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, beyond collecting anime pilgrimage, just as promised kanina po, I am quite excited to share the life beyond toy collecting. And it was rewarding because I am so crazy about Cardcaptor Sakura. I want to have the actual experience myself, the places, the feel, and the taste of being a hardcore fan. Pinupuntahan ko pa po talaga siya sa Japan kung may event po talaga yung Cardcaptor Sakura. You may try to do an anime pilgrimage where you will go to the actual place on the anime itself, or do your own portrayal of Sakura Kinomoto having her magic wands. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Ito po yung second event first event po ng Cardcaptor Sakura sa Tokyo na ginanap po sa Roppongi. After more than a decade, when the story was concluded, there was an announcement that there will be a continuation. Ito na po yun. So, a new arc to be exact, and it gets everyone so excited to more about it. There was a major event that happened last time to hinihika lang. To commemorate its return in Roppongi Hills. It was the Cardcaptor Sakura exhibition, The Enchanted Museum. Ito po yung nakikita nyo ngayon sa picture. It was an event not to be missed for me as a fan, so I'm happy to share to you some photos from the event itself. It was a very rewarding moment po. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, ito po yung second event sa may Osaka po, naginanap sa Hirakata Park. Dinayo ko rin po siya kahit gano'n siya kalayo. Makapunta lang ako ulit. The Cardcaptor Sakura Exhibition, The Enchanted Museum po yung name ng event, was then transferred nga po dyan sa new location sa Osaka in order to be catered for fans outside Tokyo. The second event nga po ito na blessing that we are traveling during the exhibit period. So we give it a second look since there are also some new attraction added like the Kero pool and the takoyaki eating Kero. We went there with the whole family at sobrang saya po ng kids dyan. Kasi ang bago po dyan yung dalawa pong nasa picture na nakikita nyo may hawak siyang takoyaki. Next slide, please. Okay, beyond collecting, CCS events costume. Ito na po yung pinaka-rewarding para sa akin. Kasi, imagine the time when you watch the series and make fun of how Tomoyo makes costume like a doll. It has become a reality as it included inside the event itself. It was so magical indeed. Ito po yung pangarap na parang natupad para sa Sakura fan na tulad ko kasi yung nakikita ko lang sa manga na drawing ng mga clamp author, at papanood ko lang sa mga anime yung costume na ginagawa ni Tomoyo, nakita ko po siya actual dun sa Japan po mismo. Ayan po siya sa picture. Next slide, please. Okay. Beyond collecting CCS merch, there's nothing more rewarding than winning a crane game for Sakura goods. It's hard, but it's worth a try. Japan has all the CCS things you need, but it's a matter of being able to purchase it. Everything overseas is so expensive. Lalo na po yung dalawang bear na nakikita niyo po ngayon sa picture. Believe it or not, ang worth po ng isa is 20,000 plus. Tax pa po ang each. So lumalabas na almost 50,000 po yung dalawang bear. Hindi ko po siya binili. Ang binili ko po is yung plush po na Sakura na nakikita niyo sa upper picture. Yan po yung ayan po na, it's a must po for a collector na magkaroon yan. Dinayo ko pa po siya sa Osaka kasi na sold out po siya sa Tokyo. So, nung nabili ko siya, sobrang tuwa ko po. Dapat po lahat ng Sakura collector meron yan. Dahil yan po yung nakikita sa bedroom ni Sakura. Kung napapanood niyo po talaga yung anime or natandaan niyo kung napanood niyo yung part na yan. Next slide, please. Okay, isa pa po ito, Beyond Collecting, CCS Cafe at Hong Kong. Dumadayo din po ako para sa mga cafes ng Sakura. Believe me, this is one of the best things you can do for being a fan. To be able to visit and dine at Cardcaptor Sakura cafes are the real thing. At I'm seeing the customly made menu with your favorite characters and it's living a life to the fullest. Imagine niyo po habang nakikita niyo lang po na sa anime ng mga food na pwede mo nang orderin, yung talaga po yung in-order ko. Tapos naririnig niyo po yung music nila na iba-iba from the anime tinutugtog while kumakain. Is napaka-rewarding po sa sarili. Sobra-sobra. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Another cafe din po sa Japan. Ito yung after ng Hong Kong. Nagkaroon po ulit ng bagong cafe sa Japan. This is from Roppongi din. I forgot to inform everyone lately. The Teen Cafe's place nga po pala. Yun nga, yung opening and ending ng song na sabi ko na pala kanina, which adds more reminiscence and nostalgia. While you are enjoying your meal, it makes me wanna sing din po talaga pag narinig mo yun. Parang na-complete mo po yung childhood dream mo pag nandun ka. Next slide, please. Next slide, please po. And lastly, yun nga po, Beyond Collecting is kasama po ang next, okay. Yan. Opo, ayan ang pinaka-ginagawa po ng bawat collector. Ang pinaka-masaya sa hobby namin is yung toy photography. Sinasama ko po yung mga toys ko pag nagta-travel para lang po picturean sila doon sa mismong actual place na nakikita ko sa anime. Of course, I want to try to give them an awesome shot. If you get the perfect shot, it will be very fulfilling in memory. It will be precious po. So, yun lang po ang ano po sa ngayon. Medyo hinika. Sorry. Thank you everyone who let their time watching. Mamaya po, stay tuned lang at meron po kaming konting pag-giveaway po from our group. Thank you very much po.
Yay!
Wow.
May pag-giveaway. Actually, sige,
sorry,
go
I
ahead.
have a
Muna.
question. Mina, what's your favorite piece from your collection? Kasi I've seen your collection, ang laki na. So, is there a favorite piece, and what's the basis of your favoritism? Is it the price, or does it have a special story attached to it?
Actually, lahat naman po meron siyang special na place sa heart ko eh. Yun ang totoo. Yung nakikita niyo po sa background is puro 90s anime pa lang po. Yung Sakura ko talaga na collection, hindi ko po mapakita kasi yung internet dito na
Pero pag biglang kunyari lumindol,
Ano yung first mong hahabutin?
ano yung first mong kukunin?
Pero thankfully, mga konting crack lang naman sa ilalim ng ground. Ay tumutumba lang kasi yung iba kasi nasa kabilang side po ng house, yung iba nasa taas. So, sali hindi ko mapakita kasi nga po. Pero baka mamaya, pwede ko pong i-glimpse kung may magre-request po. Pwede naman. Kung anong pwede silang makita.
You did mention that you've been, I guess, like from all the pictures that you've had, you've been to Japan for so many times, no?
Yes
Have you,
po.
so like is are you locked into purchasing the merchandise in like actual stores, or do you go in sa mga I know in Japan there's like a lot of those 100 yen shops, 'di ba? Yung
Uh-huh.
mga
And
Manda,
pag
I think, are you familiar with Manday Shoten?
hindi
No?
po masyado eh. Kasi
Ah.
usually sa Akihabara lang naman ako nagre-report sa
So
mga
everything is like
magkakaan.
legitly in Akihabara or like big stores in Japan talaga.
Opo, yes po. Kung ano po yung
Ah.
kasi magkakadikit lang naman yung mga Taito,
Hmm,
Kotobukiya. Ando na po lahat sa Akihabara, lahat ng Japan anime toys eh.
galing.
Hindi ka na po magsasawa umalis. Parang kahit doon ka na lang magstay forever. Kung pwede lang, bumalik
How,
ulit.
how many times have you flown back to Japan just for Sakura, for
Um,
Cardcaptor?
a lot of times na po, siguro mga 4 times po. Kung sa Sakura pa lang po yun. Kasi
Sakura
sa
lang
ibang
'yon.
Wow!
Wow.
Just for
line po
Sakura.
namin is hindi ko na po mabilang.
Galing, galing.
Mm.
That's really that's very passionate that you actually travel abroad to actually get what you want.
Yeah.
So,
Yes po.
you know,
Sa collector ng
man.
anime, parang dream come true na po yun. Parang wala ka nang hihilingin iba.
So, ilang
Mhm.
taon ka nung una mong pinanood ng Cardcaptor?
Actually, mga ano po ako noon, grade 6.
Ah,
Grade
okay.
6.
Around the time, yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes po.
she actually watched Cardcaptor before me. VCD days ko pa 'yan. I know two rats anime pa ako kumukuha nun.
Mm.
Grade school ko pa naman siya napanood.
Yeah. All right.
Mina,
So,
one
thank
more
you.
question
Yan.
siguro.
Po.
Sige.
Interested lang. What languages did you have to learn to get a toy? Kasi I heard you a while ago, you said you talk to your sellers in their language, and I heard meron kang Thai na nakausap. What are other languages you had to learn?
Actually lahat naman po. Hindi ko naman po sila na perfect. Google Translate lang po talaga ang pinaka isang
Parang
Best
pag
friend natin sa
conversation,
ganyan.
parang hi, hello lang para makarelate ka sa kanila, no? Para, uy, pagka
ang dami pong ang dami pong toy collector na nagre-resell din ng collections nila
yeah.
sa iba't ibang bansa. So, hindi ka nila kakausapin kung hindi mo talaga itatranslate sa lengguwahe nila yun.
Mm-mm.
So, hindi lang po
Yeah.
siyang kailangan. Kailangan talaga. Gusto nila
So,
yung language nila talaga.
like when you're
Mm-mm.
in Rome, you do what the Romans do, ganon. Yan,
Nung
ganon.
punta po kami
Oo.
ng France, parang meron po pala doon na mahilig sa bioman, ganyan.
Mm.
Nag-translate pa po talaga ako ng fresh, magkaintindihan lang kami ng seller. Para lang po toy na gusto kong i-purchase sa kanya. So, ayun po yung mga kalokohan ko na sumobra-sobra na sa paggastos. Pakakuha lang ng toy na gusto mong rare na yan.
Nakita ko si Toto, nag-comment. Tapos ano yun, ang
Oo.
collector nagipit sa Monday shooting kumakapit. Kasi when we drive in Japan kasi, we kept on driving in Japan for a couple of days then. Whenever we were driving locally from Tokyo to Sendai, we were stopping at Monday Shotens, ganyan, para
Mm.
kasi yun yung 100 yen shops. Yung mga collectors na kasama ko, dun sila kumukuha.
Yung nakwento nga po ni Kat sa akin yan last time, na pwede kong dumaan doon. Kasi pag nandun ka, parang kailangan kasi po sa amin, pag pupunta ka Japan, kailangan naka-detail na lahat ng gagawin mo. Parang isa lang yung ma-miss mo doon, makakalimutan ko na lahat ng gagawin ko. So, hindi ako nakakadating ng part. So, para mas
I
yung time mo ng sulit.
Yes, yes, that's right. You make the most out of your trip.
Yes po. Totoo yun.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, Mina. We'll ask more questions later. But for now, from Cardcaptor Sakura. Wait. But from Cardcaptor Sakura, I think it would be really nice also if we move on to our next speaker
Let's
who
go
has
back a bit more to the back.
yes.
Diba? Yan.
And this is for those who love Supergirl or superheroes na girls. So I
And who
guess
loves planets. Yan. And
planets and
and
in schoolgirl outfits. So I guess
and
everybody
tuxedo
would
mask. Yeah. So let's
tuxedo mask.
give it up for Max. Hi,
Max.
Max.
Hi guys, good evening.
Yeah,
Hi
Hi, good
Dreamers.
evening, Max.
Hi.
Wrong one.
There.
Wrong
Sorry,
one,
Sakura.
wrong one.
Wrong one.
Ano, yung one ba si Sailor Moon?
Hi,
Wala namang one
hi
si Sailor Moon.
Moonies.
Ayun, ayan.
Hi,
Yun.
Moonies.
See, kasi connected
Yeah.
siya. Like, from Cardcaptor Sakura, then you throw back a little bit more to what actually, I guess, what started the whole anime craze,
Yes,
or at least
exactly.
yung
At least
fondness of
to make
girls
it
for,
mainstream where
yes,
we're at right
to
now.
make
Yeah.
it mainstream. Yes, I think. Max,
Yes.
would you, yeah,
Here to
would you walk
enlighten
us
us
through
more,
your
walk
your
us through memory lane.
presentation? Ako, I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, it will be actually a trip to
Mm-hmm.
the 90s. So we can start with the slides now. Hi, Moonies. Good evening. Right. So here's my moonstick, the Proplica moonstick. So there. So let's start with yeah, the Sailor Moon Philippines first. Go back 2 slides. I'm so sorry. Right. A little about our group first. I guess that's the wrong file.
Yan, kasi ano, we're having
Okay.
some technical difficulty. So, habang natin slide mo. Hi Max, how
Yeah.
are you?
I'm doing
Yan.
great. I had dinner na din.
You had dinner?
Yeah.
Dapat. So ito kasi like I saw your presentations before we're
Mm-mm.
loading this up, no. So just to like ease a lot of people in, how did you become a Sailor Moon fan?
Yeah.
Because I was also a fan of Power Rangers, Super Sentai during the
Oh,
90s, right?
okay.
Mm.
So and I'm a kid who's part of the LGBT community. So I'm
Okay,
thinking of
okay.
there's an absence of magical girl heroes or heroes
Mm-mm.
or girl heroes during the 90s. In 80s we
Yeah.
have Shira, right? So
Yes.
but in the 90s
It was
there's quite a
mostly
gap.
the macho image, diba, during the 90s. So it
Yes.
was
So
a breakthrough to have heroines during that time. Tama ba?
So have you
yes,
seen the entire series? That I would assume you've seen the entire series of ano.
of course. All incarnations from seasons 1 to 5, from the
Aha,
movies,
ayun.
from the live actions, musicals.
May live
Mhm.
action sila? I
That I
did not
don't
Yes,
know that.
know.
That I
from
did
the
not
early
know.
2000s.
They like is that a long time running live action series or was it? I,
Mm-mm.
I have to look
Um,
into this.
it's just
Hindi,
for a year. It's one season. It's called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, similar title. They have different
Mm-hmm.
weapons though.
and
This is
Japanese
from the
I would
yeah,
assume Japanese was the production company for it. It was a Japanese
yes,
ano.
yes.
Okay. So sometimes kasi 'di ba may mga gumagawa ng live action biglang Taiwan or or China. So
Mm-mm.
Fortunately,
okay.
it was
So
Japan.
thankfully kasi they usually like put the same ano the same concept or the same
Yeah.
storyline for the anime. So aside from Sailor Moon, no, because you're going to be diving into Sailor Moon a lot, and you did mention Power Rangers. Do you
Yes.
collect any other toys aside from Sailor Moon?
Mm-mm.
Aside from Sailor Moon, I also have magical girls from different generations. So the core of actually of my toy collecting will be magical girls from the 60s to present.
Oh,
Mm.
wow,
But I also
60s.
yes,
Grabe, ah.
So here's the big question: How
sige.
old are you?
Why does it
I'm
always
just in
have to
my
come down to
30s
age?
though.
Ayan, so pero hindi kung ayaw mo sabihin mo na yung age mo, let's bring in the presentations first.
Yes.
Let's
Sure.
keep the people hanging about your
Huhulaan
age.
natin.
Ayan.
That's max Asian.
Okay na tayo
All
dyan
right?
sa ano na yan. We're good?
Ayan, medyo
Max.
payat na ako dyan.
Eh,
Okay,
So
we'll
there.
review.
let's not get into that.
So yeah, so Sailor Moon Philippines, so we're founded last September 2011. So our goal, and still is from 2011, is to unite quality Filipino Moonies, all kinds of Moonies around the globe, fans from the 90s to the present. So tayo ang Sailor Moon Philippines, Pilipinas sa ngalan ng buwan. So there. So we started as just three admins. So the first picture was Ian and me and Lay and others, and there. So we grew into a more diverse kind of team. We have cosplayers. We have Ansandig, which is a YouTuber. Right. So our partnerships and events. So last year, fortunately, we're part of TOYCON PH 2019. We were able to exhibit most of our collections from most of our admins. Then we've had partnership as well with Melody Road, which is a musical event, and Moonlight Miracle Romance Manila, which was held last February 1st. It's a cup sleeve event similar to K-pop events, and thank you SVC Philippines for organizing this event. Then also GP and Takara LLC. So in my next few slides, you'll get through my adventures when I collect toys. So I get most of my toys aside from Facebook will be from YJA, Mandarake, and others. So there. So it will be a toy journey. Yeah. So it's my toy journey from the 90s to present. Next slide, please. There. So as you can see, that's the kid me. That's the 7-year-old me with a glass cabinet, the same glass cabinet at my back right now. So there. And where do I usually when did I start collecting toys? So mostly I ask my mom to buy toys for me when I get good grades. So it was a form of a reward. So it's our kind of a policy between me and my mom that when I get good grades during periodical exams or quarterly exams, I get a cartridge from a Game Boy cartridge or a robot or a playset, perhaps. So there, and fascination with toys. I also have had Transformers in the past, so it was a form of diversion as well. To like when I enumerate toys in the malls, like when I was asking my mom, "That's Sailor Moon, Sailor Mercury, and others." So my mom was diverting me, and dun tayo dun sa mga toys na mga robots and stuff. So there. Next slide, please. Right. That's actually an interesting question. So, how did you decide to focus on a particular series? So it started 2013, and thank you to the people who've helped me collecting. First during college I got this Sailor Moon Spiral Heart Moon Rod from Shaila Sasis. She's actually one of my closest friends. So nanghihingi ako ng mga toys sa mga kaibigan ko from college, or yeah, from college and even high school. Do you have Sailor Moon toys from your childhood? Can I buy it and stuff? So during 2013, I've met lots of sellers, collectors. For example, Wilvin Ramos from Playbox and Doreen Ballesta from Motsu, and they've helped me to think or to decide. Like I'm getting older. I was already 24 back then, and I need to streamline my collection. There, I also had Super Sentai and Kamen Rider toys before. Next slide, please. There, that's actually my favorite question from out of the questions that Toycon PH sent to me. So what makes you unique? So aside from Sailor Moon, I collect magical girl toys from the 60s to present, right? I also have some Sentai robots or Mecha from different generations too, and I have for yeah the one in the picture. This was from Tonde Burin or Super Boink, and also from Oja Majo Doremi and a figure of Doremi as well. And the interesting facts, like toys that I have as well. This is a camera from Christina Tanaka. She's actually one of my closest friends. So there, so it's a camera. Mhm. And a cassette player, a Walkman, like a similar to a Walkman, and it's Sailor Moon. Love it, right? Yeah, I have Utena doll as well, Akazukin Chacha, and the one in the middle is Hananoko Lunlun. Right there. Next slide, please. Yeah, and to what lens have you gone through, like to get or to purchase toys? So The pictures, for example, the poster, that's one of my actually sought after posters in Japan. So it's I got it from Miss Wilma Suzuki from JPN Takara. So and also the Holy Moon Chalice there. That's actually the final weapon in Sailor Moon Sailor Stars. It connects with the Eternal Tier, but it was also the transformation item in the manga though. I can't reach the chalice though, but I have it here in my room. Right. So you YJA, Yahoo Japan Auctions, Mandake, and also Mercari. But most of these are requirements would be you need to be in Japan. So I have some friends from Japan who do the purchases on my behalf. Yes, that's super boink. Here, right. Bandai Premium, yes, yes, for the prop replica toys. Yes. Next slide, please. Yes, aside from toy collecting, going to events in Japan, similar to what Mina's doing as well. So I went to Japan several times to watch Sailor Moon musicals, and I was fortunate to be in Japan for 3 consecutive years for musicals and 4 times for personal travels. So yes, tama si Doreen, bit-bit lang online, bit-bit lang in YJA or Mercari. Sad, yeah, sad but true, right? So the USG event in Universal Studios, as you can see in the pictures there, I went there and it was really fun. I did a Facebook live actually when I went there. Right, next slide, please. There. So yeah, so those are my personal travels. So aside from loving magical girls, I also love anime in general. So loving anime in general, you have goals in mind like where to go, tourist destinations. For example, the first pick was in Fushimi Naritaisha, and it's in Kyoto, and I went there at night. Most people are went there during daytime or early morning, but it's perfect to go there at night. Right. Yeah. And so yeah, aside from collecting, I also travel for learning languages as well. I am studying Japanese, and yeah, that's for the love of anime and magical girls. Right. Thank you. There. So difficulties of being a Japanese toy collector. So that's actually the last question. It doesn't end. So it's endless. So for example, this toy, this is the first moonstick, the first weapon of Sailor Moon from the 90s. They've released it again during the 10th anniversary, which is this one. Similar but quite different. Then another one will be from the live action, this one. Same moonstick, same name as well. And the most recent one will be the Proplica or the Prop Replica, which is in 1:1 scale. Right. It's the same moonstick. Same moonsticks. Yeah, but from different generations. Right. Guess that's all. Thank you guys. Thank you, Moonies.
Oh, galing naman. So
There.
that's like four generations of
Yay!
moonsticks, no?
Yes, of the same one. They also did that to other ones as well. They're already there's a 90s version of this one as well. I have it in the
Okay.
back though.
Mm-mm.
But the most iconic one will be this one, the Moonstick. So the most
Yeah.
generic one, Sailor Moon. So they've
Okay.
had four
So
four
so
versions.
majority of your collection looks pink.
Yes, pink and gold.
Maganda yung ano eh, yung mga moonsticks na yan, yan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saka yun talaga,
So,
when you say
kasi,
Sailor Moon, you really have to have the moon stick because it
Yes.
appears in every episode. And you know right away, the best starting credits, you see the moon pa lang. So you immediately
Yes.
know it's Sailor Moon.
when
Ye-
when people mention Sailor Moon to me, like on my last podcast, they were telling me and my co-DJs to actually cosplay Sailor Moon daw para movie sila. So like
See, there's a cat.
you mentioned no. So I want to ask you right now, what was
Sure.
the most difficult acquisition that you did for your collection?
Most
Yeah,
difficult.
focus.
I guess one will be the
You
chalice at the back. The chalice.
Which
It
one?
actually
Can you?
so later mapapakita mo sa amin like when we go on like when we bring everyone in,
Yeah.
mapapakita mo ba
sige.
sa amin ng
Sige.
ganon? Sige. So we will look at the chalice later, no? Yan, sige. So thank you very much, Max.
You're welcome. Thank you
We'll
guys.
bring you back in later for a lot of Q&A. So if you guys are watching right now, if you have any questions, like just put it down below on the comment section, and then we'll definitely read it. Kasi marunong na ako mag-click ng live comments, yay! Without clicking the wrong one.
Yep.
All right, so our next guest, Zet, do you want to intro our
Yay!
next guest?
Somebody fought.
Yes, he's
Yep.
very fun. The better half of
Um.
Mina. Yan. Let's bring in
Of
Drew.
course, yes. Um. Yep.
Oh,
Drew.
Hi,
hello everyone.
Drew.
Hi,
Ayan.
Ba,
everyone.
pinalis mo si Mina
Hi,
dyan sa tabi mo.
Drew. Oo nga.
Umalis si Mina. So how are you, Drew?
So,
Hi,
this is
hello.
Amtech, diba?
Yes,
I'm
he
looking
is part
question.
of
Ayan. Sorry
Ampex.
again, what's the question again?
You're part of Ampex, right?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes, yeah. And so, all right, we'll give you the floor. It's
Yep.
all
All
yours.
right. Okay, first slide, please. Okay, good day, everyone. This is Drew again from Anime Manga and Figure Exchange, also known as Ampex. Our group was made 5 years ago. It was meant to be a haven for anime figure collectors and manga aficionados for them to share their new hauls and have some fun discussion about recent and current manga chapters. Most of the time, we also do share some trivias with regarding with a certain anime series. For example, I'll give you a trivia. Did you know that most of the characters and places in Magic Knight Ray Earth was named after famous car models? Names like Sephiroth for Nissan Sephiroth, Emeraude for Mitsubishi Emeraude, Clef for Master Clef, and so on, to name a few. Also, okay, one more trivia would be also in Hunter x Hunter, there was a board game introduced on a called Gungi, which was not considered as an official game. But later on, one Japanese fan made rules on how to play the game by simply analyzing what he learned from the chapters. That's pretty awesome. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let's proceed now. When did you start collecting? Okay, actually, it was way back in year 2011 during our stay in Singapore. Initially, we tried to order from eBay and some local buy and sell websites in like Gumtree. Then we also visit some physical stores and flea markets. At one point, we got engaged in figure selling by the ways of reselling. That's why I have a page called Webmaster Boys for that. If you, some other people know about the store. When we were already decided to go back to Manila, we discovered Facebook stores and TOYCON flea markets, and it made us quite happy because the prices are very cheap, way cheaper than abroad, of course. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, what figures do you collect? Okay, well, we started in with the 90s anime series that are shown on our local channels, like the World of Masterpiece Theater, anime like Princess Sarah, Adventures of Peter Pan, Dog of Flanders, Mga Munting Pangarap ni Romeo, Georgie, and etc. So, okay, next slide, please. Okay, we also collected animes like Magic Knight Ray Earth, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Ranma One Half, BTX, Hunter x Hunter, Tokusatsu was also a great influence on our childhood, so we made sure it is included on our collection stash. Series like Bioman, Maskman, Shider, Machine Man, Kamen Rider Black was an auto purchase most of the time. Then, when cable TV was introduced during our early 90s days, it gave us a wider selection to know more series, and the rest was history. Next slide, please. Okay, what made you collect anime and Japanese toys? Well, for me, they are closer to the heart than Western cartoons. True, since maybe because it has an Asian values, the character design is more likable and attractive than Western art. But that's for me. And I also feel that the anime series has a more badass scenes, like doing the henshins and the power ups. It like the when Goku is doing the power up by himself, Super Saiyan. It felt more manly. If I try to replicate a Super Saiyan than mimicking a Thundercat, then yeah, I will gonna be doing the Super Saiyan instead. The henshin skins of the Tokusatsu series are more incredible for me. Imagine doing the Bioman and Shider pose before henshin, yeah, right? So cool. Next slide, please. Okay, sorry. There's one more. I feel that the figures have a better sculpt than the usual Western toys because before the old toys are like the GI Joes and maybe the Star Wars. I think they maybe not the same mold, but I feel it's like the same mold, the same packaging and everything. I felt like the majority of the Western toys came from the redundant mold. It has a less effort to create, but that's my opinion. And I have no offense meant for other collectors. Next slide, please. Okay, what's your most esteemed collection so far? Actually, too many to mention, but I will just gonna be showing you some of those. I love all of them, to be honest, but I have favorites, of course. To name a few, here are some names that came up in my mind. I say our BTX collection, since we already acquired most of the toy liner, all the Takara and the other, yeah. If you can see the pictures, and also our Magic Knight Grey Earth collections. We already have the vintage doll sets with the complete costumes, and we also have most of the Grey Earth swords versions from Bandai to the smallest to the recent up to the recent one, which is the Eternal Masterpiece. And also, one of our maybe best collection so far is signed figures by the tokusatsu actors like Tatsuo Kurata, Kamen Rider Black, Ryosuke Kaizu, Red Mask, and Michiko Makino of Bioman. And of course, this World of Masterpiece Theater resin kit of Dog of Flanders is very cool when you see it for yourself with your own eyes. Complete team set of the Dragon Quest Legends of Abel and others. Because this one it gave me a hard time. The only way for me to collect them is through by luck. There are so many collectors that wants to have to acquire this item, so it took me maybe around 3 or 5 years before I completed the whole group. Yeah, that's it. Okay, next slide, please. How did you start collecting? Well, if you are an OFW, you have no choice but to get a hobby. Better make it safe, so we choose toy collecting. I started by acquiring gashapons and random stuff at first until I finalized what I really want to collect. Next slide, please. Okay, what makes you unique among other collectors? For me, my desire is to have rare figures and specifically vintage. I feel there's more value to it. The feeling of touching a rare or vintage item is definitely incomparable and unique. I lose interest also in figures that are too abundant on the market and have lots of bootleg versions. It is very applicable on online store nowadays like Shopee, but bootlegs are here to stay, so just be careful when buying on trusted stores. Okay, I'm also not a big fan of custom works. I tend to be more attracted on official made figures. But don't get me wrong, I appreciate how skillful and artistic those customizers are. But I still prefer to have an officially made figure, even if the scope is just a normal, no, normal. Next slide, please. Okay, to what lens have you gone to acquire a specific toy? Okay, fighting the bidding wars most of the time and maxing the credits. Well, I believe it's very true for most of the collectors, and I believe most collectors have been in this situation several times already. I believe they can understand me. Okay. Also, crossing countries and borders just to meet the seller. Just like my wife, when we're talking to other people that cannot do when the seller has no ways of shipping the item because he doesn't want to or doesn't know how to. We cross country borders just to meet someone or a collector. But good thing, way back in Singapore, Batam, Indonesia, and Malaysia is just nearby, so you just need to cross the border for a few hours. And welcome to our world as a collector. Okay, be and the last is be on an unfavorable deal just to acquire a figure from a toy line I wish to complete. Well, okay, on several occasions I made deals with people who are willing to do figure swapping. Even the price of my item is 3 to 5 times much expensive than theirs, but I have to accept because I need to complete my collection as soon as possible. Okay, next slide, please. Difficulties on being an anime Japanese toy collector. Well, two things. Before, it was difficult because since most of the toys available in are Western toys, most like SM sells mostly Barbies, yeah, cartoon toys most of the time. Also, but now it's harder since lots of people are collecting the same stuff that you do because it's way cheaper now on some recycle stores, and you also expect a lot of competition from other people because Facebook is global. You can be anyone can get the item first before you do. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, beyond anime pilgrimage. Okay, just like my wife, because of course we're traveling together. Being a collector is safe and cool, and that's awesome. But there is more life could offer that may exponentially make you appreciate it in a different light. I am glad to share to you my experiences as a great anime fan, like my wife. I always saw posts on social medias about places, cafes, restaurants that have anime themes. I said to myself, I will be there and try it once. It was a great decision. It was sugoi, subarashi, anything that any good word and anything superlative word that you can say. Seeing the Thousand Sunny replica in Korea, just like on my picture, the Gundam statue in Odaiba, doing the Kimi no Noa on the stairs of Tokyo, enjoying the Evangelion ride on the USJ, and be on a Lawson team store is a very rewarding experience. Next slide, please. Okay, part two. It happened once again and again and again until we got addicted. We can do more than collecting, and that is to live the anime life itself. Going to theme parks, anime scene places, and tokusatsu actor meetups are awesome level ups, especially if you have sign your collections personally. To be able to dine in Kuya Robert, also known as a Kamen Rider Black Knight Bar, was such a bliss. Meeting Totoro as well, visiting castles like Takeshi's Castle. Well, no, not really Takeshi's Castle. It's Osaka Castle. Meeting Survey Corps higher ups was an honor, and being a ninja in Konoha was hard yet fulfilling. Next slide, please. Okay. Also, this one, anime cafes. Just imagine you're inside the resto or the cafe of at least one of your favorite anime series. You are being served food, sweets, drinks with custom designs of your favorite characters with matching background music of all your opening and ending soundtracks. I call that Nirvana to the highest. And I'm sure you'll never regret experiencing this and you will come back for more. So far we have visited Yu Yu Hakusho Cafe, One Piece Cafe in Hong Kong, and Tokyo, Hunter x Hunter Cafe, Attack on Titan. So very cool. Next slide, please. Okay, meeting the actors. One of the proudest moments of being a toy collector is meeting the actual people of the series you love the most. Imagine people you have known since childhood is right before your eyes. It was a starstruck moment, and you can't help but to either do a tears of joy or have a wide smile on your face. Make sure you have your collection signed because it might be a once in a lifetime moment. Diba? I hope to meet them again and their other teammates for the Tokusatsu people, and then when we go back again on traveling after the COVID problem. Next slide, please. Okay, so also, whenever you go, try your best to bring along your favorite figure because you'll never know. There can be a perfect moment to have snapshot them on a certain occasion. Better yet, plan it properly and pick the perfect toy for the location, like Kenshin Kyoto for me, and Yaiba in Osaka Castle, and Magmaman versus Godzilla, to name a few. Yeah, that's all. I hope I give you some inspiration on to do more than collecting.
I love the toy shots. I did not even
Ganda.
think about the toy shots. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
I was actually drawn to the cafes. Ang ganda. Like,
oh my
how does
god.
it feel actually,
Pwede ba sa kunti?
it's
Sige. Drew, how does it feel to be in an anime in a
yeah.
anime cafe?
Well, actually, pag nasa loob ka ng cafe, well, um,
Mahal lang,
unexplainable.
no?
Sobrang mahal actually. Especially yung yung Sailor Moon Cafe because yung Sailor Moon Cafe is parang siya yung pinaka popular sa lahat na napuntahan kasi mostly lahat ng ibang cafe are normally priced lang. Although
Uh-huh.
maybe half the price nung sa Sailor Moon, mas mahal
And
talaga sa
did you had to line, I would assume you had to line up kasi when I went to Gundam Cafe, we had to, I mean, there wasn't really a long line, pero like right next to the Gundam Cafe kasi yung AKB48 Cafe, they had like a huge line.
Hmm.
So we decided, I mean,
Really?
magandang pan eh. Oo.
actually it
So kaya ba,
depends.
it
Mm, it
depends talaga.
Yeah, because currently, especially nagkaroon kasi ng isang sikat na anime right now which is yung Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Aha, aha,
And
aha.
Mhm.
you have to have a lottery lottery
Oh,
reservation.
really?
Oh,
Yes.
for accommodations, like,
Wow. So
Ah,
that's really difficult
na
to
kami
get
pero hindi
into.
din kami lucky din na nakakuha ng slot. Ganun siya kahirap.
Wow. So, hindi, curious ako, no, kasi you guys did mention that you guys were from Singapore. You
Yeah.
started collecting when you were in Singapore. Was your collection big as that right behind you right now, or like
or
half
you have,
of
or
that,
that's already the downsized
Okay, if
version.
I'll be measuring it, I think it's 50% of the collection.
50%? So, how did you transfer it from Singapore to
Ah,
Nasa Manila ba kayo ngayon?
mm,
You're in Manila,
um,
right? So, how did you transfer
Yeah.
all the entire collection from Singapore to
I
Manila?
think I think I have to get at least 4 jumbo boxes just to transfer
So,
everything.
one trip lang yun. That was just one
One
trip.
trip, one trip for jumbo
Wow.
box.
So
But
But you
during that
had
huge.
time,
to.
2003, I think the collection is not maybe around. I'm not sure. Lesser than this.
That's how
But
big the collection is. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that
but Drew,
goes without saying.
you had to reduce your collection here in Manila, or you reduced your collection while you were in Singapore.
No, as of now, we're thinking of reducing, but the thing is,
So
the more that we plan to reduce, the more impulse buying that we do.
my address is 527 Decatur Avenue. Maluwag yung bahay ko. Pwede kong kunin yung iba. I'm accepting donations. Yan. Pero
Oh,
you did mention then, no, that you were collecting a lot of toys from the 90s. Are you
yes.
still continuing to collect like current trend anime toys? Like for
Well,
example,
that's
like
something regarding us. We didn't stop on
so
appreciating animes.
continuous pa rin. Continuous pa rin siya.
To be honest, we already had 4 layers of Kimetsu Yaiba figures on our no, on our second floor. While
Oh God.
So
Four
I'm not sure
layers na
what
siya.
to talk.
And I'm understanding the layers is the same as like the display that you have right behind you. So four layers na ganyan. Parang ganon.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So and then lastly ko no, I saw something no. What was the highest bid that you made?
Bid. Okay, 40k yen for a
So
Bayaman.
that's for 20,000 pesos.
Yes.
Wow.
But it's maybe around
Hindi ka
maybe
naman
10.
hindi ka naman pinagalitan ni Mrs.
Well, to be honest, I
He's a collector also eh, so
Ganun.
baka hindi.
So, mamaya may question ako sa inyong dalawa. So, isa-save ko yung question na yun sa inyo for later. Then we'll
okay.
bring you back in. Thank you so much, Drew. Thank you so much. Yan. Last but not the least, syempre,
Yep,
hindi naman sa medyo biased ako, pero kasi like, I am a huge Gundam fan. Box lang ang meron ako ngayon kasi yung figure ko is at work. I actually do when I have downtime at work, I actually build the model kits, no. So,
same
without
here.
further ado, let's bring in Nico. Hi.
Good
Hi,
evening. Hi,
Nico. Good
everyone.
evening.
Hi,
Hi.
Nico.
Hello.
Yan.
Hi. Nice. May gandang win.
Yes.
Yep,
Hanggang age lang ako kasi hindi pa ako nag-ano ng Iron-Blooded Orphans. Shout
You
out kay
should. It's a
Joshua
great
who gave me this
series.
fake this model kit. Kay Josh. Siya, my good friend Josh actually gave me the model kit. Yan. So let bring me
Yeah.
back to memory lane then kasi before I was doing model kits din myself. So it's the floor is yours.
yep.
Take it
Thank
away.
you. Okay. Good evening, guys. I'm Moki. Uh, I run the Moki Plamo Facebook page. I am a modeler, scale modeler for Gunpla and other mecha model kits. Although I'm more of a scale modeler din talaga. This segment is focused on my part of the hobby, on the theme of Eastern or Japanese themed toy collecting, based on one of the more famous toy lines in that genre, which is Gunpla. So, where do we start? Next slide. Next slide po. Oh, by the way, greetings to Galaxy Rinrin, my Gunpla Roadies, Mecha Kure, Pinoy 144, Mobile Suit Hanger and Gitalier, Armored Komodo Heavy Industries, and Wilson PLR. Okay, so let's start. This is in the slide. This is actually the first model kit that was bought by my parents sa akin. If I remember right, sa Special Toy Center sa original Vera Mall. It's actually started out with SDs, pero most of my stuff is high grade. I didn't actually get to focus on the hobby full time when I was when I was still studying. Kasi I was more focused on finishing my degree. But I was on a semi hiatus when it came to college because, of course, we all do our hobbies to relax and to manage people's stress. People, of course, have to do things. So my hobby was Gunpla, and when I was taking my undergrad in college, one of my topics to consider for my thesis was the Gunpla hobby in the Philippines. So I actually did um, my thesis on the Gunpla fandom here, which after graduation really kickstarted my interest again sa hobby, sa Gunpla community and building. Hmm. When I was 26, next slide please. When I was 26, I had the opportunity to buy my first model na binili sa akin ng parents ko. I lost it originally when we moved from Santa Mesa to Novaliches, but I was really happy to get it again. Yet again in Green Hills. I haven't built that yet, but it's more complicated than it seemed to me when I was a kid. So I'll keep practicing muna before I finish that in particular. Okay, so next slide. One of the topics that was discussed is what makes you unique when it comes to this sort of hobby. Well, a couple of years ago, 2015, I started my Facebook page because A lot of my model pictures of my Gunpla finished builds started cluttering up my personal profile. So I thought maybe I should just put up a page dedicated to my hobby. So I went with that. 2015, Moki Plamo, the page launched, and I just went with the flow, going with what I liked, posting my builds every day, getting better sharing, learning techniques. Eventually, that led to several other things like interviews with different international Gunpla YouTube channels, such as Zach Aurelius. I've been interviewed twice by Zach Aurelius. Yesterday was the most recent one. It's catching up from the last time I got interviewed. And recently, then for Gunpla Network, on their Gunpla Insider channel, sub channel in Gunpla Network, I was also interviewed about my builds. Things about this that makes me unique is the way I actually finish and build my models. A lot of the most common comments I get on my own page, on my style, is my speed. Before I was able to finish like one kit a week. Nowadays, I'm slowing down, pero it's still the same. I've maintained my consistency when I build. Hmm, uh, what else? Aside from my page on Facebook, I also maintain a very high social media presence on both Twitter, Instagram, and two gallery pages in Japanese. I really had to get help from Google Translate to join those because it's mostly the Japanese modelers on that site. But I do recommend joining and sharing works for people who are into that sort of thing. Next slide, please. Other than my Facebook presence, I also did before, not as frequently now. Every time I learned a new skill in building my Gunpla, I would create tutorials for it. One of those tutorials actually got published on an online website called Gunpla 101, which is called How to Paint Gunpla with a Black and White Technique. That was the painting style that I learned throughout the start of my return to the hobby. It's a several step process that I recommend everyone to try so that they can get their own quick speed builds for display. I also post on my own page several tutorials, most of them just albums and pictures, taking steps of each process of my build. So a lot of people have asked me how I build my stuff. I respond by telling them to just patiently wait. I'll be able to make a tutorial for that. Okay, next slide. I also Aside from my tutorials, I also frequently participate in exhibits here in the Philippines for official events such as Gundam Model Kit Gundam Model Kit Competition (GMKC), the GBWC, Gunpla Builders World Cup. Sometimes as a contestant, sometimes I'm also asked to display my works. Thank you so much to Banky and Mecha Pinoy for reaching out so that I'll be able to share my works on a public space so people can see them in person. I've really found that people are better awed by what I do when they see the actual model kit, which does make sense because sometimes pictures, it's really hard to take a good picture of a finished model kit for me. Speaking of, by the end of this segment, we're going to have a giveaway. I think I mentioned kanina. So stay tuned for the people here because I'm gonna give away one of my old builds. I hope whoever wins this likes it. So we'll get back to that more later. So next slide. Okay. Sometimes when you join the competitions, if you work hard enough on your craft, you get rewarded. I've been joining on and off contests for the past few years since I returned from the hobby, and I'm happy to talk about it. Sometimes I get lucky, but most of it really depends on how focused I am on my skill to win. If not, at least the top three places in some contests that I join, I found that it helps to have fun when you're in this hobby. Because I think if you take it too seriously, you're not going to put out your best work. Most of the time when I join these contests, it's a goal there to have. And if it feels extra rewarding for me if I'm told I won something from the contest, because that means I was able to bring out the best version of that model for me because I wasn't too pressured. So I hope that's something that sticks to people. Next slide. So, difficulties when it comes to this sort of hobby. The the gunpla community is global nowadays. It's not just Japan. It's not just Asia. It's not just here in the Philippines, but it's all around. Sir Mike was able to buy gunplay in the US. There are several contests for that as well in America. Um, Sometimes the language barrier is the most difficult thing to overcome, especially when you want to share your work on a global forum or on the internet, because not everybody speaks the same language. That's one of the things that I found difficult. Another one is if you're interested in getting a particular model and that model has been discontinued or hasn't been reissued yet. So the waiting game is long, the online bidding prices are high, but if you're like me, you're willing to wait. I waited siguro mga 18 years to get back the model kit that I was first given by my parents. It's really just waiting. Last, well, not last. Another thing that's difficult for people in this hobby, if you like a particular design and don't know the model kit of it yet, if you really want that design, or if you really want that look for a particular kit, sometimes you have to face your fears and try to make it yourself. That's one of the things that helped me grow in this hobby. Being able to develop my own skills that I'll be able to share with people my ideas, my own takes on Gunpla and Gundam with the skills that I practiced for years and years, such as painting, kit bashing, a little bit of scratch building, just to show them how it's done. And that it's, yes, it's entirely possible that you can get the model kit that you want, even though it doesn't exist yet, if you're willing to just sit down and make it yourself. Last, the most common problem I think for people in this hobby, there's not enough space to display the things that you have. For us, Gunpla modelers here around the world, I guess that's the most common problem that we encounter. There's never enough space to show off the model kit that you just finished. Final parting words, I guess, for this segment. Um, I was able to pursue this hobby mostly because I was supported by my family. I know not a lot of people have that sort of circumstance that helps them develop as a person and develop as a collector, develop as a hobbyist. But I guess for people moving forward, people my age, we can promise, we can do our best if our kids would have the same interests as us. We give them our full support, never make them feel weird, and make them feel like they're in the best sort of hobby that they have. Yes. So I guess that's it for me. um, I'm gonna give it back to the hosts if they have any questions. Thanks so much for having me
Hi.
on
I
the
have a
show.
lot. I have a
Actually,
lot of
I'm
questions.
scratching off the part na anime fan siya kasi I was gonna ask if he was an anime fan. So I'm scratching that off on my question.
um, Moki, if I just may ask,
Sure.
your parents are fans of what? I mean, your parents could have been a fan of something for them to be able to support you in your hobby of building.
Not
Um,
not only that, kasi like piggyback ko lang sa yung question mo, no. You
mm-mm.
mentioned that they purchased the model kit for you to
Yeah.
begin with.
Oh,
So you like I don't know how parents are right now, pero kasi like before, a parent would go to Vero Mall and actually go to a hobby shop and get a
Yeah.
Gundam kit is not as no,
Surprising
for a
and
kid, di ba?
uncommon.
For a
Yeah.
child, for a kid, it's not normal ba?
And then more like it's unlikely. I mean,
Uh-uh.
it's a very expensive hobby. I mean, let's face it, model kits are expensive, but to have parents like Moki's parents to actually purchase these model kits, that's a big thing. So, Moki,
May ano ba sila? Are they
may
anime
fandom
fans
ba
ba?
sila?
Are they the first generation? Sila ba yung lolo namin or tito namin sa community?
Oo.
Not really. We weren't actually that well off when I was a kid.
Mhm.
But they
Okay.
really thought that it would develop my I think they thought it would develop my EQ or
Okay.
your physical intelligence ko
Mhm.
by purchasing model kits because it teaches you to build it yourself. Eh. Siguro I just really got very impressed by
So, so
putting something together na it just came in na naging hobby ko na siya.
I'm assuming your patience is very very big because I know for a fact when you build model
Quite.
kits, you need to have a huge
Yeah.
patience. Diba? That's one of the big things when you do.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. So
it's true.
strictly Gundam ka lang. You don't do other scale models like Zoids or
I do. Apart from that, there were when I was growing up, we also had Zoids.
oh okay.
Mhm.
Yun yung dalawa eh. Pero Zoids nowadays, I'm looking
I
at
mean,
them. I'm thinking,
kasi right now
I
even Gundam keeps on like promoting it like what a year ago they released Gundam Build Fighters, diba?
Yeah.
So there's that
yeah.
part, no. So going on to that, since Gundam Build Fighters is more of customized figures, do you re-customize figures as your
Yeah.
own?
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
for example, 'di ba kasi 'di ba may custom na kay Amurore or custom Char Aznable. Ikaw ba may custom ka ba Moki Plamo?
Ano naman? Wala akong representation of myself in terms of build fighters or build divers. Eh. But when I have an idea that I want to build someone as a model, I really want to like an idea that I want to put into a
Okay.
model. I
Mhm.
try to bring it out talaga. Like for example, if there's an SD design that I enjoy and I want it into an HG proportions, that's
Uh-huh.
something I would focus on.
Mhm.
Actually, in the last slide, one of the pictures there was
Yeah, I
a.
did
If
see.
people notice the yellow gunpla on the
Uh-huh.
side, that's my interpretation of not really real mode, high grade proportions, winning Gundam because it's
So
originally an SD design from Build Fighters.
so building all this, no. How long does it take you to build one Gunpla without customizing it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, without customizing. That's the most fun part because dati in 2016, I was able to build a model a week.
Okay,
And I
Mm.
explained this kahapon
that's
on
high
a
grade.
different interview. Yeah, that's high grade.
High grade.
I'm not
Okay.
really much into master grades because it takes me more time actually.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. But do you
But
have master
on
grades or do you even have like the perfect grade na kanina someone mentioned strike freedom na or strike freedom na ba na perfect grade?
mm, the biggest I've went for now is a master grade, mostly because of restrictions on space.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would definitely want to have at least one perfect grade.
Oh, shout out
Siguro,
Mm.
sa
ano,
mga fans mo dyan.
shout out.
So, accepting
I,
donations ng 1:60, di ba? 1:60 yun na perfect grade. That'll be a very huge project for you. Shout out. So, yon bigay mo may address mo.
Kailangan
So,
mag-usap.
uh, um, I guess let's bring everyone in
Yeah.
to the studio. Hi, hello ulit to everyone. Hi, 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 hi.
There.
Yan, so
Hi.
ang gaganda ng presentations nila. Si Mina off cam
Ay,
natin siya.
nag-reply na.
Ayan, hi. Yan.
Sorry,
So
umiinom lang.
galing, galing. So like how we were doing no earlier, no. So si Mina and Max actually were more on the parang fem side or like
Mhm.
pink-ish. Ako, I really want to call it pink. pig-ish side of collecting. Drew here is like the general,
Yes.
ano, general collector, no? And then
Mm-hmm.
Moki here is like the
The
customizer.
mecha.
Wow,
Yeah.
customizes the mecha part, no?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you guys did mention difficulties of how collection has for you guys,
Yes.
no? In each in your own ways. Ito yung tanong ngayon, how much did you invest on your hobby? In let's just do it in figures. Na hindi naman kailangan na exact amount. How many figures tayo? Let's start with Mina.
Like a ballpark figure. It doesn't have to be exact.
Hindi ko
Mina,
naman,
yung sa'yo lang ha, hindi kasama yung kay Drew ha, yung sa'yo lang.
Oo.
Isa lang.
sa akin, hindi ko talaga po mabilang. Kasi parang every week, ilang packages yung dumarating na
Saka na mga kasamang mga stationaries, mga keychains, and mga
mga
small features
accessories
na
na,
makabubot.
yeah.
Sobrang na.
Ilang figures na yan? Ano ba? 6 digits na ba yan? 5 digits? Yung value value
Isa
ng
yun.
collection.
Sa akin po, nasa,
Ah,
5 digits yun.
yeah, 5 digits na rin po.
5 digits yan. How about you, Max?
Yeah.
Like for everything,
Yes.
um, siguro
Parang,
Para
lahat
pag
siya.
kami magnanakaw na gustong pumasok dyan, alam nila kung magkano yung kukunin nila.
Definitely six
May
figures na to.
certain
Definitely
pupuntahan na
six
ba?
figures na to. Go, ano na to, six figures, 287 na to. Definitely.
Wow! And that's just the collection alone. That doesn't include like your gastos to actually travel,
Go
di
to
ba?
places.
Yeah, on top of it, yeah.
How about you, Drew? Yung sa'yo lang.
Mas marami kasi yung sa kanya kasi mas marami pang girly collection.
Mm.
So,
Sa dami naman, siguro mga half lang nun sa kanya siguro.
half lang nun sa kanya. And how about you, Moki? How much did you invest into gun? I know gunpla is an expensive hobby. That's like one of the, ano, don't be shy.
Expensive and
But I'm thinking about through the years, parang six na rin eh.
six figure
Jesus
also.
Christ. And
Since I came back.
that's only the mecha. That's only the gunpla alone. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I know for a fact for a gunpla customizer, no, you also invest on tools like yung
Yeah.
Oh yes,
cutters nyo, yung
sobra.
paint, yung what kind of paint do you use to actually ano ba, acrylic ba yan
Does it
or
have to be a specific brand or you're open to using other brands naman?
I'm open to using several brands, pero I'm mostly focused on a type of paint na mas
Mm-hmm.
mabilis matuyo.
okay,
Siguro mga lacquer paints.
Oh
lacquer
yeah.
Pero
paint.
yeah, most of the investment in my hobby all really came from the equipment.
The equipment, no? Kasi
Mm.
meron pa kayo niya malamang, I know
Mm.
sila Toto, my friends actually have like ano pa may parang cutting mat pa sila to
Yeah.
actually do this. So, may gusto ko nga itanong kay Mina and Drew earlier, no? So, sino nasusunod sa inyo pag
When
bumibili
it
ng
comes to
toys?
purchasing toys, yes.
Since you
Is it
guys are a couple, no? Sana all, di ba? Pero since you
given,
guys are a couple, not many collectors are a couple. Sometimes it's just like one of their better halves, no? Pero like
mm-mm.
between the two of you, who who spends more? So I think we have the answer earlier, pero
Who spends more and who decides on what to spend on?
uh ayan, si Mrs.
Okay.
You can do it secretly naman.
So
So tandaan
so
guys,
parang
happy
ikaw
wife,
work
happy life.
work 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 siya, bye ganun.
happy na po ako sa mga
Keep
isusunod.
the wife happy.
Keep the wife happy. Ang
Mas okay
galing.
na.
And so, ikaw Zet, do you have any questions for them? Anyone on the viewers then have questions
Yeah.
for our
I
guest?
think it would be good if we just pull questions from the audiences, from our
Yes,
audience. Um,
audience.
oo, kasi ang dami. I mean,
Pero while you're viewing the questions from the audience, no, I want to ask kanina, with regards kay Drew about Ampex, no, does Ampex work with other toy collectors that's non-anime then? Do you guys
Well,
collaborate with them?
well, to be honest, yes. There was a time na even though anime yung group, I allow tokusatsu items to be included on this group. So,
Okay.
kung naman kami, at the same time, I love games din naman eh. So, I'm planning to incorporate games and other, maybe not Western, maybe still Japanese. And I think it will work.
Uh, May ano pala kanina rin, no? You did mention na mahilig, maano ka rin sa tokusatsu, no? Paisang post nga dyan. Kaya mo mag-post ng tokusatsu? Ay, oh, yan, oh. Mag-post ng tokusatsu. Oh, yeah. Tokusatsu post by Drew, yes. And earlier, Max, we did mention yung chalice, no? You were gonna show
Yeah,
us the
can
chalice.
you show us?
Yes. The chalice actually it can be combined to a wand. This one. So this part is
Oh,
my
Oh.
chalice, which is I have two. So this is the other one. So
So merong
it's a
may
chalice.
backup.
do you collect ano ba? Pag nagko-collect ka ba, it's like you buy two, one unboxed and one boxed?
Or you just want to
Yes.
open them all? Ah,
Oh.
so may reserve ka talaga.
So
At
meron ka nung
times,
unboxed version.
yeah, at times two or three, depending on my budget. If wala akong budget, dalawa. Kung may budget ako, tatlo. So one is for I let the first one to get old, rot, or something like the natural course of the aging of the toy, and the second one will be for keeps, and the third one it can be for sale in the future.
Wow. Galing. So hindi lang pala isa lang yung binibili mo.
Dalawa or tatlo.
That's really that. No wonder you'd be reaching six figures at that rate. Galing,
Yeah.
galing. Tapos kay Moki naman, I have a question. Do you have any tips to like beginner scale model figure builders there? Like the very basic tip that you would give aside from purchasing.
In preparation siguro for people who want to build, siguro I think find a line that you like before going on social media to ask people na what's the best thing to build. Ask yourself what you like first. Check if it's in the right scale that you want. Kung large siya, like perfect grade, or as small as high grade. And then maybe before asking the internet, it's better to just check YouTube if there are tutorials so you
And
know what to
this
expect.
is a no no this goes in general for any um
I guess for
model
any
Yeah,
toys
toy,
that you do.
diba, it's really important that you kind of know what you want, and if you start a line or a collection, you can stick to it, or you know when you want to change. Tama ba?
yeah, that's true. Definitely. If you focus your collection on a particular line, you're gonna have less time stressing over getting everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Eto, yeah, may question tayo. I think this question would go to everyone, no? Toy collection maintenance daw, sabi ni Rin. So, I guess if you guys wanna put out yung basic na toy collection maintenance, let's start with Mina naman muna. Let's start with Mina kung ano yung toy collection wow! Nagulat ako nagpalit nun. may costume na bigla.
May change costume.
Naging Keroveros na siya. Alright, so,
How do
um,
you guys naman?
basic toy maintenance sa inyong dalawa.
Mostly, naglalagay lang kami minsan po ng gloves pag naglilinis or halimbawa, open kami ng mga bagong toys. Pero ako kasi yung collector na gusto ko, nahawakan ko talaga siya ng kamay ko.
So, out of
Nilalagay
box
ko
collector
siya.
ka talaga,
Kung
no?
lilinisin ko siya, siguro mga brush lang po na pang makeup. Tapos,
Yeah,
konti,
Okay.
unas lang,
same.
same lang.
Kasi ang hirap siguro saksakan ng feather duster yung collection nyo dyan sa likod. No? Tignan nyo, pag
Unless you have
nag-feather
very
duster,
special,
wasak
um,
lahat yung... how about you, Max? Basic toy maintenance
Ako
mo.
usually yeah, same makeup brushes. Then also sa mga glass cabinets ko, madami siyang silica gel to absorb moisture.
mm-mm.
Then also like the temperature of the room, meron akong thermometer sa may glass cabinet ko. Yun. So less than 30 siya lagi, mga 20-ish siya lagi.
Wow, yon. And then, I mean, Drew, kayong dalawa, Drew and Mina, no? I guess you guys do the same method to actually maintain your toys, no?
Yung actually yes, pero yung sa akin pag yung mga toys are like parang mga rubber lang, sometimes I do wash them on a basin, parang gano'n. Binababad ko sa soap. Pag hindi naman gano'n ka na yung toy, hindi naman siya gano'n ka delikado. Kumbaga.
Before I hop it with Miko with the same question, singit ko lang, Do you guys collect toys the same way as Max does? Like, bibili kayo ng dalawang toys, one in box and one out of the box? Or do you guys really unbox everything?
For us, we try to unbox most of the toys
Most of
talaga.
the toys.
Yeah.
Unless siguro yung value umangat ng 50K, no? Hindi na.
Tulad ng Voltes, meron kami Voltes Spec na hindi binubuksan. So, yun.
Ah,
Baka,
okay.
baka siya
Katabi lang siya.
baka in the future, mag-gamit for emergency.
Okay. Eto, ayan si Moki. Matindi maintenance nito dahil iba ang dahil we're talking about paint. We're talking about color preservation eh. How do you maintain your collection, Moki?
I don't really want anything to remove yung paint jobs ko eh. Um, siguro for basic maintenance, it's a glass cab as well. Kung kaya na soap and water in a basin din. Pero
Mm-mm.
kung stressed ka for time, pwede na siguro yung wet wipes. It won't really eat up your paint though.
Oh, so
So it's
you
safe.
actually wipe them out, like you wipe them off or something na
Mm, good tip.
Medyo
Uh,
matagal na, like a year or so. But, kasi if it's in a glass cab, it's a bit dust protected din naman.
Okay. So hindi rin high maintenance ba para sa inyo guys? Like do you guys spend a bit more just to maintain or it's like just
yeah.
simple household methods to actually maintain them?
Simple lang siya lang.
Simpleng linis lang.
Just household methods.
Household methods lang siya.
Mm.
Ayan. So sino ba ang may questions ba na pa? Do you guys have any questions? Actually, no, isisingit ko lang, I mentioned kanina kasi sila Mina at sila Drew nang galing sa And Moki, you're a huge Gundam fan, I would assume?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, meron ako nito. I don't know
What's
if it's
that?
gonna be... It's a shot glass of Setsuna
Oh,
FCA from Gundam Cafe. Original siya.
Nice.
Yan, ganyan yan. So, it's one of my prized collections kasi one of my collections is actually getting shot glasses from everywhere I go. So, one of the Gundam cafes that I've been at was Setsuna FCA's shot glass from Gundam Double O. Yan. Nakuha ko yan
Double
sa
O.
Japan.
Exactly.
Ko lang yan. Ayan, so may tanong si Josh ata for Moki. Ano ba yun?
Oh boy.
Fellow gunpla maker mo yan. So, what
yep.
if your kits fall off the shelves and breaks a crucial peg? What do you do?
Man. It depends on the peg eh. If
Does
it's
it
thick
even
enough, you
fall to
can.
begin with?
Actually, yeah, that's a really good counter question. But if it does, be prepared to have a small drill handy
Small
and make
drill.
sure you have paper clip wire for support inside the peg
Okay.
before you glue
Where
it
do
back
you put it?
together.
Like, um, sorry, I have to ask also because for someone who's going to start palang with going for bigger ones, could you repeat that? Put a paper clip before you glue it together. Is that right?
All right. Let's say, for example, this pen is your peg. If the peg had broken off,
Mm-hmm.
what you do is you take a very small drill in the middle of the broken peg. You drill a small hole, siguro
Mm-hmm.
mga
Drill a small hole.
0.3 millimeters. Drill a small
Okay.
hole here. Insert your paper clip wire, of course, strip paper clip
Mm-mm.
wire. Apply super glue to one end. Make sure to center it back on the peg, on the base of the peg that broke off. Drill it in the middle where it would meet, it would come back together.
Mm-hmm.
Put super glue on that
With
Mm-hmm.
all
and put both of them together. Wait for the super glue to set. It should be good because
Ah,
meron na siyang metal support inside.
okay. So, yon. Ganun pala yon. Okay.
Great tip.
Sige. Last question tayo before we move to the raffle, no? To the trivia questions. Miguel Paulo Juan is actually asking kanina, asa ba yun? Ayun, so, I'm sorry, si Rinrin pala yung nag-ask to all the guests, what's your favorite character in your collections and why? I mean, see, I
It's like,
think I can actually already guess kay
hey, Max,
Mina and kay
diba?
Max.
Yeah.
And kay Moki probably, pero kasi syempre may wide variety. Pero sige, let's give the opportunity. Mina, what's your favorite character the most and why?
Or at least
Um,
your most prized item.
Okay.
yeah, sa Clamp.
Clamp
Magic Knight
talaga.
Sakura. Yes.
So
So
you're
big.
you're a huge Clamp animation fan, parang ganun. So
Yes.
you're like Cardcaptor Sakura, Chobits, ano ba?
Magic Knight Rare. Yung
Magic Knight, Ray
pinaka-big.
Earth, yun. Galing. Ano pa ba
Much.
yun? Yung Clamp School Detectives.
Yes.
Yan,
Mm,
mga pinagdaanan mo yan, di ba? Kikita na natin yung age.
Alam na yung age.
How about you, Max? Like, ano, any other favorite characters that you have?
Favorite characters, definitely, I'm a Sailor Moon fan, but my favorite character in
Okay.
Sailor Moon would be Sailor Saturn. One, aside from the character,
Oh.
the toys, Sailor
Hmm.
Saturn toys are more difficult to find. So
Mm-hmm.
if they're difficult to find, they're more expensive. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much
So,
it in terms of my favorite
moving
characters.
away from your comfort zone, let's take
Sige.
Sailor Moon equation out. No, so what would be your next favorite?
Um, Same na kayo na meaning yan kasi I love my Cardcaptor Sakura toys. I have Magic Knight Ray Earth as well. I have Pontibu.
My
So,
God, those are the classics kasi.
and favorite ones, mga rare items. For example, this one is rare. It's expensive though.
Uh-huh.
Um, my favorite ones are more difficult to find, but they're quite cheaper. For example, the Walkman, the camera, and
Oh, so
Mm.
like it's not just the actual you as parang
knife.
ano yun? Ang
Just
tawag sa
find
toys na
items
ganyan?
also.
Oo.
Yes.
Okay. So Drew, ikaw, favorite anime character or tokusatsu siguro? Let's which part of you on that?
Well, actually, may yung pinaka-favorite ko na, na series is yung ano, yung parehong gawa ni Togashi, which is yung Yu Yu Hakusho tsaka yung Hunter x Hunter.
Wow. I was
So,
about to say Hunter x Hunter nga eh. So,
makahanap talaga yung most of the items.
did you watch both yung original and yung remake?
Oo naman.
What would you say? Hindi. Next, sa susunod na ano yan. Kasi malaking topic yung bago at saka yung luma
Yeah.
eh. How about you, Moki? Like your favorite, so I guess let's go for the Gundam series or like your Gundam character.
Mhm.
I'm more of favorite designs, pero in terms of character siguro the ones that are sa top ng list ko, Shiro Amada from
Okay.
8MS team.
Mm.
Wow. I did not expect that.
Galing.
Bagay kasi talaga if you're a Gundam talaga enthusiast, no? It kasi like marami dyan pag sinabi mo Gundam fan ako. Sino favorite character mo? Hero Yui. Kaya
Mm-mm.
Hirayama to but they don't know. Pero anyway, and so let's go on to the raffles. We're gonna uh each of our guests will be giving you guys a trivia question and then
Mhm.
paunahan na tayo sa comment section. Ito na naman po tayo, pabilisan ng internet. Sa Pilipinas, pabilisan ng comments and then we'll wait for our COA to actually decide who actually wins and then we'll go from there. So let's start off with Mina. Pakita mo muna yung prices mo. Yan. So that is nakalimutan ko yung character sa kaliwa. Si Keroberos kilala ko.
Si
Chuchu. Yon.
Tina Arrow.
Yan. So one lucky winner ba? Ang ano niyan?
Ay, dalawa po.
Dalawa.
Ooh,
So
two winners.
two winners for Mina's. Give it. Take it away, Mina. What's your question?
Sige.
Wait lang. Saan ba nilalagay yung question? Okay po.
So watch
Okay.
out, ah.
Ano ba? One question lang ba meron ka or two
Question lang po.
questions?
One question, then yung
Two
first two
winners.
po,
First two,
Plamo.
ayan o. First two, ako, first two.
Okay. This is the question. Please listen. After so many years, Cardcaptor Sakura is back with its clear card art.
Yes.
To celebrate its return, which place in Japan does Cardcaptor Sakura exhibition, the Enchanted Museum, first held?
Yan. So, saan daw yon? So, for Cardcaptor Sakura fans,
Saan po unang ginanap
saan
yung
unang ginanap?
event.
My
Mm-hmm.
God, someone's mowing their lawn this earlier. Naririnig mo ba?
Nope.
Oh, good, good. Kasi I'm
Good
hearing
thing.
the lawn mower. Yan.
Saan po
So,
sa
sino?
Japan? Saan po sa
Oh,
Japan?
meron na ata nakakuha.
Yep.
There's one. There's one. Dalawa. Dalawa.
Two.
Ipakisabi nga kay Kowa yung ano,
Yep.
Kowa, Kowa. Hello. Nasabi na ba ni Kowa?
Not yet. But we're waiting for Kowa.
Hindi na, I mean, as long as they got the location naman eh.
Yeah, it's okay na yun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good na
okay.
siya, valid.
Kahit
Yan.
city lang, di ba?
Ah,
Yes po.
we'll do the city para ano.
Sige.
All right, so we have our first winner. There's the first one, and then another person coming back in.
Mina, would you like to
So,
announce the first winner?
sige, ikaw na Zed. But before that, Max, do you want to show your prizes then muna before we announce the winners para dun sa ano ni Mina? You show your prize nga
Sure.
for your raffle.
This is actually a Karuta from 1994.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Sailor Moon. It's only a freebie from the Nakayoshi magazine. So you will not get this if you didn't buy the magazine. And it was from
Wow.
1994.
Ay, galing.
Galing. Yan. Sige, sige. So, I think, so before you ask your question, no, we're just gonna announce one of the winners. Si Celeste Clemena
Yeah.
is one of the winners. So, alin ba mapupunta kay Celeste
Congratulations,
dyan?
Celeste
Yeah. Oh,
Jimena.
sige. Siguro meron siyang kasama para kay Celeste. And then we're gonna pick out the other one kay ano, for Mina's question. One more. Antayin lang namin si Kowa. All right, Max, go ahead. Like, go for your question.
Sure. I have actually two questions. So the first question is quite difficult. So it's worth this one and a chopstick. Chopstick, sorry.
Wow. Okay.
So, so
Oh, dalawa yun.
the question is, what is the vehicle or the car that the Tsukino family is using during the 90s?
Yeah,
So,
madali lang yan.
anong kotse yung ginagamit ng family ni Usagi during the 90s?
Madali lang yan. So, ano yan? Isuzu Gemini. De, joke lang. So, yung nanalo dun sa isa pa ni Mina, the other
Is
person that actually
Sasa,
won.
Sasa Morales, you win the prize.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Hi, Tata.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
friend pala.
so yung prizes na yan, no, will be kept muna by our guests, and after when GCQ ba? GCQ whatever whatever the quarantine thing is now there in the Philippines. After that, then we'll be shipping everything for you guys. Yeah. So may
So it's
nakakuha na
probably
ba nung
by June 1. Yeah.
parang mahirap ata yung
Medyo mahirap
question
nga.
mo.
Okay, so ito, easy question na. The answer is, it's a Volkswagen Rabbit.
Yeah.
Ah,
Ang
Similar to
Volkswagen.
ayan.
Usagi's name, right? Rabbit is Usagi. Usagi then Rabbit,
Toto,
right?
nanonood ka Toto, ba't di mo nakuha yon? You're the car fanatic. Alright, sige,
Wag.
sige. Next question, next question.
So the next
For the
question
same
will be
price.
for this one, the same price. So this is an easy question. So the mangaka of Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi Sensei, is married to whom? Who's the
So
mangaka?
for non-otaku people, mangaka is comics, tama ba?
Yeah.
Yan, so comics. Pero it's manga in the eastern side.
Yes.
Yeah, kita mo nung tinanong mo yung question about the car, nung naging specific na sila, may 16 valve na nilalabas na Volkswagen.
Grabe, hanggang ano,
Pero tama
hanggang
yun,
valve,
yeah.
ah.
Hanggang engine displacement.
Hello, car fans out there.
So that, Naoko Takeuchi is married to whom? So yan, Google nyo na. Oh,
Yep, ayun na.
I
Meron
think
ng
we have
tamang
one.
sagot.
I think we have one. So, Alright, so the winner for Max's question is Nick Barameda. Yay!
Hey, hi Nick. He's also a
Congratulations.
friend of mine.
Congratulations.
Hi,
Yeah.
Nick. Yours.
All right. So let's move over kay Drew. Can you
Oh,
show us yung ano, yung prices mo? Price? Wow, yan. Unboxed yan. Legit. Unboxed siya.
Nice.
yeah.
So that's gonna be the price. All right. So what's your question, Drew?
Okay. My question would be, which anime series uses car model names for their characters and places?
Ayan. So what anime daw yon na gumagamit ng car animes, yung car
Yung
model ang
character
ginagamit?
group ng mga places is named through yung using a car brands and car models.
So, 90s yan. Ano yan? Dapat alam niyo yan. Mga
Very
Yung mga
legit.
tita-tita.
20s. So, up. Wait. Give chance, man. Give chance. Give chance. Give chance.
Somebody got the right answer, pero oh,
Yes.
clues.
Give chance to others
Give
tayo.
chance to others.
Kami narito. Yun ba yun? Tinagalog yung kanta. Alright. So, Koa's checking and
Pop! I saw someone.
was it?
All right, so we have a winner. Yep, it's Irish Miranda Lee.
Yes.
Congratulations, Irish.
Congratulations. Tapos pakantayin natin si Drew ng Magic Night Prayer opening in Tagalog. And then Moki, last but not the least.
Okay.
Ano yung
So, this price natin is a model kit finished by me. It is the a Gundam Blue Destiny Unit 2 painted in Xeon colors. Pero,
Wow.
isasama ko na rin sa winner yung pang Federation colors na parts niya. So, complete
Wow.
na
Uy!
accessories makakuha niya
Pwede ako
O sige,
for this
sumagot.
one.
everybody, thank you po for the
But,
show.
Thank you for the show. Hindi
Booking
na
pa.
namin pamimigay yun. My
Sige po,
address is
bye-bye.
527 Decatur Avenue.
you
Alright,
need,
so
ang
what's your
kailangan
question,
nila
Moki?
is 2 answers. They need
Oh,
2 answers
Oh.
for the one model kit. So, hindi
oh,
pwedeng
sige.
isa lang yung
Two,
masagot.
two answers tayo. I think, well,
Related
the
naman.
question is easy for Gundam fans. So let's try it. Sige, let's go.
Yeah, very easy. So, this question, the answer is, name the pilot of the Gundam Barbatos.
And so name the
The
pilot
second
of the
question,
Gundam
name the last,
Barbatos.
yes.
And the
The
final
second
upgrade.
question is, name the final upgrade of the Gundam Barbatos.
Yan, sige. Yan, madali na yan. Pagka hindi pa nila nakuha yan, kasama nyo po ang kaibigan yung matalik, si Google.
Yes, pabilisan lang po tayo ng internet ngayon.
Pero kung kayo'y nanonood ng Iron-Blooded Orphans, madali na sa inyo
Alam
yan.
na alam niyo yan.
That's gonna
Madali
be
lang.
very, very easy. Yan. Actually, insingit ko lang kasi I have my qualms with Iron-Blooded Orphans, pero I think that's gonna be on a separate episode. Siguro next episode, so yung mga succeeding episodes natin, Moki, pwede tayo mag-tutorial naman ng crafting, 'di ba?
Oo.
With other model makers, 'di ba? Not only with Gundam, pero we'll do it with Zoids or even like yung mga jets and
That sounds
military stuff.
great.
That should
Yes,
be great, 'di ba? Na
definitely. Ang
mag-panel
laki
time
na
na. All right, we have a winner.
ang
Yep,
model kit community. Oh,
we
Winner
have.
'yon, dalawa 'yon. Na-comment niya dalawa 'yon.
Koa has to check.
has to be 2.
Yan, has to be two daw. Yan. Mahirap yung na yun, Xeon colors and Federation colors pa.
So,
Yan. Well,
ina-activate ko na
kaya
yung
nga,
ko.
Yep.
dalawa.
Yep.
Alright,
Tama.
congratulations to
That is
Sham Guari.
Shamguarin. Yay! Sayang akala ko
Yes.
aabot yung isang account ko
Congratulations.
para mag-type.
Oo nga. I, I guess we're running out of time, Zed. So,
Yep.
you wanna
So
kick it
again,
off?
thank you everybody for joining us tonight for episode 10. Again, this has been turning Japanese anime and Japan mecha toys. So we're glad
Yes.
to have our guests Moki, Mina, and Drew, and Max. Thank you again for joining us tonight. And for
Mm-hmm.
everyone here who has been watching, thank you for spending the last 2 hours with us. And I hope
Yes.
you have learned something from this episode. And
Alright.
by the way,
So,
we'll have a bit of a change in our schedule. So
so
starting June, yep, Michael has a few announcements because he has to announce this.
So
Meron kami program change.
okay, so we have a program change. So ano nga? So as we wrap up this episode of ToyCon TV, first and foremost, no, let's do this muna. We'd like to greet our very own Miss Catherine Barameda again.
Yes, happy
Happy birthday.
birthday!
So a quick update. We have some big news. Starting June, we'll be broadcasting on Saturdays from now on. I know it's really sad to let our Tuesday slot go, but we have to make some sacrifices in order to provide you guys a better show and to prepare for the big one. Yeah, may big one coming darating. So you guys have to watch out for the big one of ToyCon TV. And we're bringing in a lot more guests and watch out for further announcements as we actually go with regards for ToyCon itself. So yeah, and so we're gonna be giving out a lot of updates now. And still, same town, same time, same place, no? We'll be back here, I think, next Saturday, June 6th, with some of the renowned content creators naman. Yan. So,
Mhm.
yan ang abangan nyo ngayon on Saturday. So, guys, again, thank you for our guests, Mina, Drew, Max, and Moki for sharing with us your passion and your collection about the eastern side of collecting toys. And I hope, as always, join us again next week with another exciting episode of ToyCon TV. Yan. Yay! Shoutouts naman muna dyan.
Yay!
Hey, thank you
Shout
po.
Thank you.
outs. Shout
Thank
outs.
you guys.
Thank you.
Yay!
Oh, that's
Have a good weekend, everyone.
and
Yan.
here.
Good weekend.
Hi,
Yes,
Thank you.
and thank
Yan.
you again.
Next Saturday, content creators naman kami.
Yep, we'll have
Yay!
our friends na, if you're familiar with Creator Stage Show, ito na yun.
The
Ito na yung
creator
Creator
stage,
Stage
ayan
na.
na. Tapos yung big one talaga. I'm really excited
Yep.
with the big one. So we're gonna really have a big one. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye!
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We're still live. Nagla-live detect. We're definitely live. We're still live.